Hi everybody, Kent from Oz here. Now today is a big video, so just be prepared for that. Make yourself a cup of coffee and have a seat, because what I'm going to go through is a whole lot of information about my plans to use bullet journaling for my predominant teacher planning. So let's start straight into it. I'm actually going to change binders and use, and those of you who know Filofaxes, this is a Finsbury A5 zip. Now I only bought it for $20 on Gumtree, which was quite a good price. It's in very good condition, good leather, has an external pocket there, and of course zip wraparound. See if I can get in there. So there's a zip all the way around. And of course, if you followed my videos, you'll know that I have a tendency to not like the rings too much, and one of the problems, I had been using another Filofax for my teacher book, which I won't go into too much, but it's a one of the Filofax notebooks, which was quite good. The only problem I was finding was with a busy day, punching holes and creating the inserts, which was very good. Visually it helped me, but I just don't have the time to go through and spend a lot of time setting up page after page. So here's my solution. I've trialed it already, and I'll talk about that in a little while, but let's have a look inside. So yes, I have de-ringed it, so I'll just take this out for you to see. Alright, so this is de-ringing. Now I didn't do a great job, and I actually left, there's a metal strip in the middle of the binder that's under all the material. I actually left it in because it actually gives it a bit more support, and when you're using a binder like this quite a lot, it's going to have a lot of knocks. So that's what I've done, and here's what I've got. So I'll just put this back in to show you how it sits, and then we'll go through what I'm planning to do. Now, not only am I going to show you what I'm doing, but I'm also going to talk about my reasons as well. So here's the bullet journal book that I'm going to use, and I'll get to that in a second. Just going to talk about the Finsbury first. So lots of pockets. One of my big thing is that I use continually a black pen, which I use a lot. This is a Uniball Signo 0.38 gel pen. And there's a red one on there, and these are the basic two. I do use highlighters and so on, but if I need to go from class to class, these are the ones I need to carry. And the beauty about the Finsbury is they have these elastic pen loops that fit these quite well. And a problem with a lot of binders and a lot of pen loops is that the rubber catch on the pens don't go into the loops very well, but this one slides in quite well. And of course I've got both on each side. I don't use the pen all day, I use the black pen all day. So that's one of my reasonings. So let's go into the book first. I've trialed a lot of books, and I wanted to look at the book that I would be happy to use. The problem with the bound books, and I've used Moleskines in my personal carry, which you'll see in a video, just check my channel, is that it doesn't give me as much flexibility. If you wreck a page, you either have to remove it or leave it. So I'm not really a fan of spiral binding, but I found these actually a good compromise. So, oops, little technical difficulty there. All right, so this binder, which I've bought at Officeworks, I'm going to show you a new one. So let's have a look here. Now these are in Australia, Officeworks. They've got the spiral binding. They've got a very hard plastic cover, and on the inside about 90 sheets of dotted paper, and the dots are actually quite pronounced but not too dark, so they're right in between, which I actually having focusing problems there. You can probably see the dots there. The other thing that it is, the paper is quite thick. Now that's really good for the gel pen use, and also it just makes the pages a little bit more tougher, and also with the binding helps to keep the page in. Now the good thing about these are, and I wasn't really worried about the price, but these are about $2.50. Now it's quite a good quality binder, and then The other added bonus is that they actually comes in two versions. So this is the A5 spiral notebook. The brand is, oh, can't see it. So let's say it's made for Officeworks in Australia. But they also come in an A5 version, exactly the same, with a plastic zip lock packet that comes in as well. And this is the thing that got me. I can store basic things in here, notes and whatever, and we'll look at that in a minute. But also has the cover as well. So that's my reasoning. Now the good thing is that these spirals can actually be removed, so you can easily slip out pages and other bits because they're not that one solid spiral, and you can just lift them out, and that flexibility helps me to add and take away and modify, which is what I tend to do with the binders. So I've actually taken the hard cover of a second one and placed it on here, and so that's that front cover there. Now the reason for that is it helps secure the binder in the book into the Finsbury, and it goes on the other side. Now the problem with the Finsbury is that it doesn't have a long pocket on both sides. It actually has a notebook packet on the back. So I did a little bit of creative thinking, and I thought I need to secure the back cover as I've got here. So a very simple solution was I cut a U shape. Now this is only rough at the moment, and probably when I set up my actual one for teaching, I will probably make it larger, but I've got to make sure that I don't make it too thin on the sides so that the plastic will rip. But it actually holds this quite well, and this sleeve here, if you can see, slips down into the pocket and actually holds it quite securely. And so even though it doesn't slip in that way, I've actually got the back pocket still available if I want to store things. I'll put my hand down there so you can see. And this keeps the binder together. Now, I wanted it so that the binder is held, and when I open it up and then open it to a page, and I've got a page divider here, it's all ready to go. It lays very, very flat, and I spend a lot of time working out what I want. So let's go through the bits and pieces here. The front cover is, and I've done a nice colourful photocopy insert with my school logo, which I've covered up, and also my some details there. And that's just a piece of paper which I've put inside in the front cover. And this actually just holds very flat pieces of paper, some of the highlighter stickies, and a little bit of notes, and also acts as a dashboard with washi tape, which I use. I do use it, yes, mail using washi tape, usually just to stick things in and so on. I've also created just an extra dashboard page for post-it notes, because I'm a big post-it note user as well, and also for highlights. So this is really the workstation area for my notes and just all my stationery. I try to minimalize as best I can. A few lined ones that are fluoro, and I have a preference for the brown paper post-it notes. Okay, so I did a 2-week trial. This is the book that I use. Now I'm going to cover up a little bit because just so that you don't have to look at everything I do. But this is my schedule. I print this up, and it's just a table I've done on Word and my school schedule. And in each of the sections here, I don't write a lot of lesson plans. It's usually 1 or 2 words, a little reminder, perhaps a meeting, which I've got at the bottom there or at the top, and the date and a few other things there, schedule, timetable things. It's really just a prompt, but it's very essential for me because if you're like me and you're teaching, it's go, 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 and you tend to just want to know, okay, for this lesson I've got this, and then the next 3 lessons after that I just it's a summary timetable. I tried using a brain dump page on this side. That's actually a receipt. It didn't work too well. This is the last 2 weeks of last term. So I was wanting to write notes, general notes, not daily notes, some dates to write, and then areas down here. And as you can see, I hardly wrote anything in that first week. So after that, I decided I need a week spread. So this is the page that I used. Now I decided that because I write a lot of things, I put 2 days per page, very minimal, the date and information, checkpoints, and then just lists. Down, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. In fact, I didn't even write the days, which I'll talk about in a second. And then Friday, which is here, and then some more notes there. So really, my whole week was over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that left the last one, which was also a sticky note dump and other notes and so on. So these are some sticky notes that I use. I'll just fold that one over so you don't need to see that one, and place them on this as just a bit of a dumping ground, because I come back to it, quickly write notes. Sometimes I don't have time to write directly into here, so I just write them on sticky notes, post them there, transfer them over. As you can see there, this was written in the car, and so on. This is where the washi tape comes in. This is the extra little paste. The post-it notes glue doesn't work a lot, not great, so I tend to make sure anything important I just stick it with a little bit of washi. Hence, using at the front, I've cut out small little squares. These are just patterns, and I just cut a small one, boom, 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 and that sticks a lot of things together. So that's a receipt that didn't have any adhesive, so that's where it goes there. I actually did enjoy using the lists. Now this is task lists for the day. A little reminder, not a lot of curriculum things, a few things, phone calls, emails, to do things, check things, maybe reminders. My bullet journaling is very, very minimalistic as well. I'll just bring it closer if we can have a look. And you can see that a task is done, I tick it. I have also a tendency to cross it out. If I transfer it, I do an arrow. If I don't do something, I will put a cross in, but there's not a lot of crosses there because I can do it. And occasionally I'll write in the times, one meeting somewhere there, and after school and so on. So a little bit of post-it notes. So for my day, I'm working in this one zone here. Quickly flip over, check my schedule. That's what I'm doing. And then my planning, administration basically is there. Now, not a lot of lesson plans and so on. So there's just really my bullet journaling, and this area is just for organizing myself for my day, which is my need as a teacher. I have my lesson plans on Google Classroom and also on OneNote. The school uses the digital classrooms, and my files need to be accessible to other teachers. Hence, writing my lesson plans in this isn't essential anymore. It actually frees me up to actually just use this as an administration teaching journal for my teaching. So that was my first week. Wasn't too happy, but I had a lot of thoughts about what I'd like. I tried doing some decoration. I don't do decoration, putting the days, trying to work out what visually works for me. That wasn't too hard to do, so I thought I'd continue that on. So this was the next week, much busier. This looks a big mess, of course, but I use highlighting for various activities and so on. But it really is a working document, so the mess doesn't worry me. What it does do is make sure at a glance I can see what I'm doing, and highlighting also helps me to know when certain similar events are occurring and so on. On this side, I decided to move into smaller section of a weekly notes. So I had a note section, some dates section there, and a little bit more practicing on the creative labels. Started my Monday there, and again working down my to-do lists and so on. I tick it, and then eventually I will cross it off. Now sometimes the reason I cross out the words is I can still read it, but sometimes part of a task is done. So I cross off one bit and then I might highlight it. And this is where I use these small highlighted tabs like so. So I might cross the first part out, and then this part still stands out. I've still got to do it. At a glance, I can see exactly what I've got done and what I need to keep doing. I don't always go from top to bottom. Sometimes I'll put something special depending on what it is, but I gave myself half a page, and I also toyed with these little flag bits, the date and the day, which worked for me. I think I like that one, but I was still toying with what I needed. Later on in the week, you can see my planning got a little bit better, and there's a room here. So each page here is also a mini dashboard if I really do need to add more things. There was a note there which I took off, left the washi there. Highlighter strips which I will recycle, put them to the next week. Tasks that I don't complete, I leave highlighted, and that again brings my attention to what's done. So here's a typical day here. Alright, so I've got the date, the day, tasks, information, and of course here times for different things, and of course if I transferred, little arrow, if I didn't do a task it's crossed off as with an X, and so on. And at a page I can also look back and refer. Now this worked really well that week. So overall this spread looked really good for me. At a glance it's everything I can see, and it helps my progressive thinking, task, ideas, appointments. This is what the bullet journaling will be for me. On the other page, that was last week of our term. We were on vacation, so I spent some time thinking, and that's the point I wanted to make, is that you don't have to jump into everything. Trial things, which is what I did. These were cheap enough to use one as a trial and get some ideas going, the feel of it, and that's very important for me. I don't want to spend $16, $20 or more on a book, a journal, and realize it doesn't work for me. Now, it takes a while to find these, what suits you, but that's part of this as well. It's a long-term investment, and for me, it's surprisingly, you know, a $20 modified leather-bound casing, and a very cheap but very good and efficient notebook. So I decided that will probably work for me. I then toyed with the idea of looking at my calendar, and I went through, Googled a lot of images and tried to look at, you know, setting them out, what design suited me visually, trying again, looking at whether to put July up the top and the date at the bottom and the date and so on. Now here I toyed with the idea of splitting into 3 instead of 2. Do I need that much room? I was still in two minds about that. I then trialed sticking different things in, again a schedule, that's just a black and white version, and then class lists and so on. And then I looked at trying to divide my week into a whole visual scan. So when I open up my week, I have got my entire week planned at one look. Notes at the bottom there. Did a lot of trialing, you know, check boxes and the dates and the days, and putting lines across to divide those two. Putting about 5 or 6 check boxes to start and leaving the rest blank so I can have room to fill this out, and just a whole range of different things. This is just a trial, and also looking at the colors of the sticky highlighters to work out whether that was going to work for me. I then trialed a few different things. So instead of these small flags here, I went to the more elaborate ones. I quite like it. My only problem was that it takes a little while to do, which when I want to set up a week page, I don't want to spend too much time. Checked out a little bit of different drawing lines and so on. A little bit here with some colored pencil, you can see there, just to see whether I wanted to be a bit more creative. Maybe some arrows. Yes, I like it, but again, time-wise, do I have the time to invest in doing all this? So at the moment, I just sort of wanted just to see what I liked rather than make a decision on that. I then started looking at my calendar and the setup, and again looking at Google images just to work out, traditional bullet journaling calendar, or more segmented sections. We do 3 months per term, so it would really be just 3 calendars. What I found was that this really didn't leave me a lot of room. Visually, a list seems to work better for me, so I tried that, looking at calendar spreads as well. Not sure if I actually need this. It helps me to check things, but because I do have a computer and a lot of other digital calendars available to me, I can quickly check on my screen the dates and so on. But this gives me a bit of a visual look at the order of how things go. A little bit of trying to find fancy writing. It's not for me, really not for me, just basic writing. So I ended up looking at an overall long page, 1 month per page. I think this is the spread for me. I put assessment up here as in red because that's things that need to grab my attention straight away, and then just ordinary calendar things down the side here, highlighting of course, just to see how I want. I think I decided this was the spread, have 3 pages like that. Then I decided to trial it, so I printed out, changed my color scheme. Originally it was blue and black and orange and so on. Went down to a brown and black. I think the subtle colors were a little bit more complementary of my post-it notes. I've got a divider which I actually modified. I think this is a Franklin Covey one today, and I just put holes in to this as a page turner, which is what I needed. So every week I'll move that. That's about as much running around as I want to do. But very quickly I can just open up to that page. So when I open it up, boom, it's there. And I can use it as a mini dashboard as well if I need to. Here is my brain dump. Checklists, things that I need to look at, notes that I've written to myself, ideas and so on. It's a little bit messy, yes, but it's getting the job done. On the next page, my spread. So I've decided to run with a week on 2 pages, Monday to Friday, plus notes section on the bottom. I tried a little bit of colors, didn't really work out that well. I'm not really a color person, and the small flags and the line and so on. Gives me a little bit of room to add things on and also to highlight things as well. So I'll place that there. So visually I can see what my week is. If I needed more room, I'll just add a post-it note. That's what I've decided. So dividing this up to 3. And of course I was trialing a few other little bits and pieces just to work out whether I will need a larger page. But the problem with that is one day would always be somewhere else. Whereas I think that my whole week needs to be always in front of me when I'm planning. So that's what I've decided to work with. So my spread that I'm going to trial for the 3rd term of 2017 will be my printed planner, which I cut out, paste there, my brain dump. I'll probably change how it's set up, but basically that's where I'll put my notes. And of course then my 3 days per page, using the date, lines, bullets, and that's about it. At the back, which is still a work in progress, this is where I will be having curriculum documents, schedules of what we're doing, assessment, and so on. These are just photocopied and pasted. Now, I've also trialed putting washi on the edge of the page, just so at a quick glance I know where to go to. These will be documents that I refer to continually throughout the year. Also looked at flags there, but not too keen on these because they move around quite a bit. And that's basically my setup. So it's going to be a trial. I've got to be a bit easy with myself to make sure I don't feel like I have to get it perfect straight away, and it won't be, and eventually it'll work out. What I need it to be is fully functioning and getting my jobs done straight away. So all of my curriculum is really online, and this is solely for organizing, reminding, and all the administration that happens during the day. So that's a bit of an overview, a really long overview, but to give you a bit of an idea. And hopefully I will trial this and give you some updates in the next few weeks. Now, of course, I do have a few other things. I probably need to put a few little mark book bits in the back, and also maybe a year calendar that's removable, and there are ways to just use these holes to clip them in, similar to the page turner here. So I've got a few ideas which I'll try and do for moving the calendar around. So after term 3 is finished, I would then move my year calendar further on to there. Oh, just found these here. The beauty of this is, and the reason I like these removable pages rather than a binder, is that you can write notes quickly and then just remove them. So they tear out really easily. They don't leave any of those residues, this brand of book. And it really is, at the moment, the best one that I look for. This was planning, which I did outside of work, but I was able to sit down and just sort of write as what I needed out, transfer these notes in, and then I haven't taken them out yet, but you can see I'll just pull a little bit out now. It's a very clean remove. Now you can hear that the paper is quite thick too, which is what I mentioned earlier. And that's it. So my plans for my teacher journal for 2017. Who knew I was heading for bullet journaling? We'll just see where that goes. So thank you for watching, and this is Kent from Oz saying I'll see you in another video.